All right, so number six, we're going to see that the point Q is located on the coordinate grid at negative 9.73 and negative 3.32. In which quadrant is point Q located? So the first thing we need to know is that we're not needing to graph this. All we need to do is pretty much put it on the quadrant of a coordinate plane. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to draw my coordinate plane. It doesn't need to be pretty. I need to label my coordinate plane, but I know that when I label my coordinate plane, I am going to label it as if I'm drawing a C, and I'm going to draw that C. I start my C here, so that is quadrant number one, and then I follow my path of the C. Quadrant number two, quadrant number three, and then quadrant number four. Okay. Now, when I look over here, if this was my X line and this was my Y line, I need to know where my positives and where my negatives are. Okay. And remember, our coordinate pairs are always X and then Y. So if I look at my here, if this is my starting point and I'm moving right on my X line, those are positives. And then if I'm moving up to get into this quadrant, up is also positives. When I go to quadrant two, this time, if my starting point is right here, I am moving left, and I know left on my number line are negatives, but I am still moving up to get to this quadrant, meaning these are positives. If I come over here, again, I am moving left on my number line on the x-axis, which means my x is going to be a negative, and this time I'm moving down to get to this quadrant, which means down is a negative. And then when I get to quadrant four, I am moving to the right, which means this is positive, and then I am moving down to get to this quadrant, which is negative. Notice that on all of them, our x's match. Negative, positive, positive on this side, and on this side, it is negative, negative. Okay, because remember, these are going both to the right, and both of these are going to the left. Notice that our y's on top are both positives and our y's on the bottom are both negative. Because on this one, when we go up on our y, those are positives, and when we go down on our y, they're going to be negatives. Okay. So now, right here, when I look at this number, these numbers don't matter. These numbers don't matter. What matters is the signs. And I see a negative and then I see a negative. So when I look at this, I'm going to come and see where I see two negatives. Positive, positive, not one. Negative, positive, not two. Positive, negative, not four. And then I see negative, negative, which is quadrant number three. Good luck, guys.